More than a year since Casey White escaped from the Lauderdale County Jail with former corrections officer Vicki White. Casey White faced the consequences of that escape.
Prisons are extremely secure confinements built to keep real-life villains at bay. But as much as the system tried to keep these inmates out from the surface, no system has been unbreachable.
Gonzalo Lopez wound up killing a family of 5 from Tomball while he was on the run.
Sometimes these monsters in human form slip through the unknown cracks in prisons. Join us as we take you through a marathon of epic prison escapes that are extremely crazy. These stories, intricate plans of escape to an unlucky twist of fate. Trust this video to leave you speechless. Redouane Faïd's helicopter dramatic escape. Don't we all love the thrill of action movies with the mafia, gangsters, drug lords, and the police? Yes, I know you do, but a young boy took it up as his ambitious future. For this story, you need to buckle up because this story will sweep you off your feet. Redouane Faïd, a notorious French criminal, gained international attention with his daring prison break in 2018. This event showcased Faïd's audacity and cunning, leaving law enforcement agencies puzzled and the public fascinated. Faïd's criminal journey began in his youth, marked by a series of daring heists and audacious escapes. His notoriety grew as he became known for his meticulous planning and ability to outsmart authorities. He committed his first robbery in 1990 as a young lad who just wanted to show off because he felt belittled as a poor orphan with about 8 siblings. He just robbed because it gave him unfiltered confidence. At 1997, he committed a high-profile robbery that led to his first incarceration. This was just the beginning of his extensive criminal record. He was out of prison after 10 years, and he showed his remorse by writing a book titled Outlaw Author Armed and Dangerous. This book was well spoken of with a 4.8 rate star on Amazon. Just when everyone thought he had turned a new leaf, he didn't take too long to prove them all wrong as he was back in prison in just 2 years. But this time, he refused his sentence because claimed he didn't do anything that bad. As if going on a heist and killing a female officer isn't an offense. Faïd didn't agree with the sentence. He showed this by using explosives to blast through the prison walls in 2013. He didn't just give a dramatic escape. He became a superhero too by rescuing some inmates too. But he was caught and placed in another prison where he was closely watched for years until July 2018, a very warm Sunday when the inmates were out worshiping God. Faïd was busy chatting with his brother in prison as if it were a regular Sunday. He did so well to hide his excitement as a few moments from now he would be setting a stress-free, dramatic escape. Faïd's escape plan was meticulously crafted, showcasing a level of precision and sophistication rarely seen in prison breaks. He exploited a combination of inside knowledge, accomplice support, and a dramatic flair. One of the key elements in Faïd's escape plan was the acquisition of a helicopter. He had managed to secure a helicopter pilot. Well, Faïd's outside accomplice threatened a pilot with a gun to his head and held his family hostage, so he had no choice but to fly this rescue crew. On the fateful day, the helicopter pilot, flying a helicopter hijacked by Faïd's accomplices, approached the prison complex. The helicopter hovered over the prison courtyard where Faïd, armed with a handgun, was waiting. Faïd's accomplices used smoke canisters to create confusion and prevent any immediate response from the prison guards. With the precision of a well-rehearsed operation, Faïd climbed a rope ladder lowered from the helicopter, deftly making his way into the waiting aircraft. The entire operation took less than 10 minutes, leaving the prison guards and authorities in shock and disbelief. The audacity of the escape immediately drew comparisons to scenes from Hollywood movies, further fueling the public's fascination with the criminal mastermind. News of Faïd's escape spread rapidly, dominating headlines and igniting a manhunt of the unprecedented scale of 3,000 armed officers. Law enforcement agencies across France mobilized to track down Faïd and bring him to justice. In the aftermath of the escape, questions swirled about how such a brazen act could have been executed with such precision. It became evident that Faïd had not only relied on external accomplices, but also on a network of informants and corrupt insiders within the prison system. The escape exposed significant vulnerabilities in the security protocols of the French penal system, leading to widespread calls for reform and increased vigilance. The manhunt for Redouane Faïd stretched across international borders, with authorities pursuing leads in various countries. Faïd's ability to elude capture for an extended period only added to the legend surrounding him. His story became a symbol of defiance against the establishment, a modern-day outlaw who had outsmarted the system at every turn. Faïd's life on the run came to an end in October 2018 when he was apprehended in a suburb of Paris. He has been transferred to a more secure solitary confinement facility where he remains. To think Faïd would have been a new James Bond if he pursued an acting career. Well, to burst your bubble, a well-renowned director, Pierre Morel, reached out to the authorities for permission to direct a movie with Redouane Faïd's escapades, and he was given the go-ahead. It seems Faïd got his childhood dream fulfilled. He lived a real criminal movie life and got a movie dedicated to him. Casey White and Vicki White's love-struck prison break. So many love-struck stories need to be left in movies, because it seems so sickening sometimes. Don't get us wrong, love is the most beautiful thing on earth. But what if it becomes insensible? Let's find out in the story of Casey and Vicki White. Vicki was a corrections officer and Casey was a notorious criminal who coincidentally shared the same surname. Back in 2022, 38-year-old Case was facing punishment for countless crimes. He was deemed dangerous, and officers were asked to be careful around him, but 56-year-old Vicki didn't see him as such. But how could a well-ranked and respected officer fall in love with a criminal? Well, speculations have it that she was lonely and unloved because she was a divorced widow whose whole life was centered around work. But no one knew about their relationship. At exactly 9:30 in the morning of April 29, 2022, Vicki made plans to take their love to another level. She ordered a van to transport a prisoner from the jail to the courthouse for mental evaluation, which was a lie. She wasn't questioned since she knew all the protocol, but nobody expected that she'd be sneaking an inmate out. After sensing freedom, the exchange vehicles were on the run. Authorities only noticed what happened when they didn't return, and Vicki didn't pick up her phone. Soon, the news of their escape spread like wildfire with tags of Vicki being a hostage. Further investigation then showed the 900 sexually provocative calls they made and how Vicki sold her mansion just to get enough money. Their freedom didn't last long. By May 3, 2022, they were caught in a car crash with the police who eventually caught up with them by ramming their car into a pit. Casey was caught, but Vicki was found dead with a bullet in her head. She might have killed herself out of shame, but Casey was charged with her death and is back to military confinement. Do you see why we said some love is best left in the movie? So much loss just to spend 11 days on the run with the criminal love of your life. Danilo Cavalcante, the girlfriend murderer. Our nightmare is finally over. This statement was uttered by Chester County District Attorney Deb Ryan. But what would make him so relieved? Well, an inmate named Danilo Cavalcante escaped the prison facility on August 31, 2023. This prompted a massive manhunt involving hundreds of officers and put the rural community of Pocopson Township on the edge. While the full details of his escape plans have not been made public, we are sure he escaped while awaiting transfer to a state facility to serve the life sentence for stabbing a former girlfriend, Deborah Brandau, in 2021. He also is wanted in his native Brazil for murder at 2017. Danilo stabbed Brandau, his girlfriend, to death in front of her 7-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son. Prosecutors say he killed her to stop her from telling police he was wanted for murder in Brazil. The jury took just 15 minutes to decide his guilt, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Danilo's manhunt was nothing short of a movie role, as the search involved about 500 officers who used dogs, helicopters, and horses to scour dense woodlands across Chester County. Police most recently focused their pursuit on South Coventry Township in northern Chester County, roughly 20 miles north of the prison he escaped. After 2 intense weeks of pursuing the elusive fugitive, several of the law enforcement agents involved in the effort celebrated his capture. As the saying goes, there's no peace for the wicked. We are not sure where Danilo was planning to escape to, but we are happy with what wasn't accomplished. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. This image sent to us by a subscriber portrays how desperate prison inmates can be just to attain any level of freedom. Though this image seems questionable, as it shows a prisoner making his way through a closed door, which is logically not possible. These stunts are only seen in movies or cartoons. Or do you know any human that can pull this off? Let us know in the comments section what you feel about this image. Pascal Payets' prison break, a tale of daring escapes. Here is a prison escape that sparks shared determination and surprisingly integrity. Pascal Payet is an audacious prisoner born on July 20, 1963 in Marseille, France. Payet's criminal career would become defined by his ability to elude the confines of maximum security prisons. Payet's notoriety skyrocketed in the early 2000s when he orchestrated a series of helicopter-assisted escapes from French penitentiaries. His exploits captivated both law enforcement and the public, painting him as a modern-day Houdini of the criminal world. The first of Payet's remarkable escapes occurred in 2001, when he was incarcerated at the Luyen prison near Aix-en-Provence, France. Using a helicopter hijacked by his accomplices, Payet was whisked away to freedom. His freedom, however, was short-lived. Payet was eventually recaptured in Spain, but his reputation as an escape artist was cemented. It wasn't long before he was back in the headlines, orchestrating yet another helicopter-assisted breakout in 2003, this time from the Grasse prison in southeastern France. The daring escape was executed with precision, demonstrating Payet's ability to exploit weaknesses in the prison system. The 2003 escapes solidified Payet's status as a legend in the annals of prison breaks. His audacity and resourcefulness in evading law enforcement struck a chord with those fascinated by tales of rebellion and evasion. The incident also forced authorities to reevaluate security measures within French penitentiaries, leading to an overhaul of protocols. In 2007, Payet's saga took another dramatic turn. He was once again behind bars, this time in the Borgo prison on the island of Corsica. The authorities were determined to prevent a recurrence of his helicopter escapes. High security measures were put in place, including the construction of a special roof designed to thwart any airborne rescue attempts. But Payet's ingenuity knew no bounds. Undeterred by the formidable obstacle, he hatched a plan that involved fellow inmates and outside accomplices. Utilizing a stolen helicopter, Payet's associates managed to land within the prison grounds. The audacity of this attempt was unparalleled, as the helicopter swooped down amidst a hail of gunfire from prison guards. Miraculously, Payet and his confederates emerged unscathed, and he was once again a fugitive. The 2007 escapes marked the culmination of Payet's legacy as a master escape artist. His exploits became the stuff of legend, fueling media speculation and captivating the public's imagination. The authorities were left in awe of Payet's ability to outwit even the most stringent security measures. The malicious chase that followed Payet's 2007 escape was intense and widespread. Law enforcement agencies across Europe were on high alert, anticipating his next move. Despite their efforts, Payet remained elusive for several months, evading capture through a combination of guile and calculated evasion tactics. His run came to an end in 2009, when he was finally apprehended in the Spanish city of Alicante. His capture marked the conclusion of a chapter in criminal history that had witnessed some of the most audacious prison breaks ever attempted. Pascal Payet's story continues to fascinate and intrigue, serving as a testament to the indomitable human spirit when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. His audacious escapes from maximum security prisons challenged the very foundations of the penal system, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of criminal history. In the end, Pascal Payet's legacy shows the relentless pursuit of freedom, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, which would have made sense if he had put his to better use. The audacious escape of Ronaldo Silva dressed in his wife's outfit. In the annals of daring escapes, few incidents rival the audacity and precision of Ronaldo Silva's prison break, which has been recorded as the most hilarious prison break. This image should give you a great laugh. This notorious felon, known for his cunning and resourcefulness, had spent years devising an escape plan that would leave authorities baffled and humiliated. Ronaldo Silva had been incarcerated in the maximum security facility for a litany of crimes ranging from grand theft to assault. His reputation as an ingenious mastermind had earned him a reputation that both inmates and guards begrudgingly acknowledged. It was only a matter of time before he set his sights on the ultimate challenge, breaking out of the impenetrable fortress that held him captive. The plan, meticulously devised for years, hinged on exploiting the prison's lax security measures during visiting hours. Silva's wife, Maria, a woman of similar build and height, played an unwitting yet pivotal role in the audacious scheme. On a fateful Sunday afternoon, Ronaldo donned Maria's meticulously crafted disguise, a ruse that defied all logic. Clad in a dress and black wig, Silva's transformation was nothing short of astonishing. The dress, painstakingly tailored to mimic Maria's figure, concealed his identity with uncanny precision. The wig, cascading in waves, framed his face, rendering him virtually unrecognizable. It was a gambit that relied not only on the disguise's realism, but on the audacity of the plan itself. As the clock ticked closer to visiting hours, Ronaldo Silva awaited the moment of truth. Heart-pounding, he entered the visitation area, a realm where inmates and their loved ones sought solace amidst the harsh confines of the prison. Guards, accustomed to routine checks but lulled by the familiarity of family visits, scarcely glanced at the seemingly unassuming Maria. Ronaldo slipped away from the watchful gaze of the guards. Through a combination of stealth and calculated timing, he navigated the labyrinthine corridors, evading surveillance cameras and eluding the unsuspecting prison staff. Silva's journey to freedom was fraught with peril, but his steely determination never wavered. Disguised as his wife, he sought freedom, which didn't last up to 30 minutes because a guard sensed something different in his walking steps and immediately alerted the other guards who sought after him and brought him back to prison. His wife was questioned as an accomplice, and she denied knowing what he intended to use the dress for, and she was left alone. But was she expecting him to use it for Halloween? Joe Pender. It seems as though the highest percentage of women in prison had been love-struck with stupidity. Sarah Jo and her former boyfriend, Richard Edward Hull, were sentenced to life in prison for murdering their roommates, Andrew Cataldi and Tricia Nordman, on October 24, 2000, in Indiana. She has claimed ever since that she is the victim of a wrongful conviction because she didn't pull the trigger. After spending 6 long years in prison, she decided that she had had enough and decided to help herself out. Joe Pender's prison break in 2008 was a dramatic event that captured national attention. Pender had been serving a 110-year sentence at the Indiana Women's Prison for her involvement in a double homicide that took place in 2000. The case gained notoriety due to its sensational nature and the subsequent media coverage. Pender's escape was meticulously planned and executed with precision. It is believed that she had been plotting her escape for months, meticulously studying the prison layout, building relationships with fellow inmates, and exploiting the flaws in the security system. On the fateful night of August 4, 2008, Pender, along with another inmate, caught the guards off guard during a routine head count. Seizing the moment, they overpowered the guards, taking their keys and uniforms. Disguised as prison staff, they navigated through the facility with an air of confidence, evading suspicion. Once outside their cells, Pender and her accomplice had to overcome numerous obstacles. The prison complex was surrounded by high walls and razor wire fences and monitored by surveillance cameras. They managed to evade detection by moving swiftly and utilizing their knowledge of the prison's blind spots. It was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, with every step fraught with the risk of capture. Their escape extended beyond the prison walls. Pender had arranged for a getaway vehicle, which was strategically parked nearby. This vehicle was instrumental in enabling them to put distance between themselves and the prison. They drove through the night, leaving behind a trail of confusion and disbelief because no one saw this coming. In the aftermath of the escape, law enforcement launched an extensive manhunt. The media provided relentless coverage of the events, painting Pender as a dangerous fugitive. The escape became a source of fascination for the public, who were captivated by the audacity and cunning displayed by Pender. Days turned into weeks, and the search intensified. Pender's ability to evade capture only fueled the legend surrounding her escape. It seemed as though she possessed an uncanny knack for eluding authorities, leaving them one step behind at every turn. Pender's freedom was short-lived. After nearly 4 months on the run, she was apprehended in Chicago, Illinois. The circumstances of her capture remain a subject of speculation, with some suggesting a tip-off from an informant played a crucial role. Pender's prison break and subsequent recapture left a lasting imprint on the criminal justice landscape. It exposed vulnerabilities within the prison system and prompted a reevaluation of security protocols. The incident also sparked debates about the adequacy of Pender's original sentence, with some advocating for a reconsideration of her case. People felt being sentenced to 110 years for a crime you were just an accomplice in is too much. What do you think? Gonzalo Lopez, a convicted murderer. Gonzalo Artemio Lopez was a man of interest. Apart from being an American fugitive, mass murderer, and prison escapee who killed a total of 6 people in separate murders in 2005 and 2022, he kidnapped and murdered a man in Weslaco, Texas in 2005. He was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison. In a daring and audacious display of cunning, Gonzalo Lopez orchestrated a meticulously planned prison break that left law enforcement agencies across the nation scrambling for answers. The incident, which unfolded on a chilly November night, bore all the hallmarks of a Hollywood thriller, leaving a shocked public wondering how such a brazen escape could occur within the confines of a supposedly high-security penitentiary. Lopez, a man with a reputation for cunning and resourcefulness, had been serving a life sentence for a heinous crime committed a decade prior. His criminal record, marked by a trail of violent offenses, had earned him a spot on the list of the most dangerous inmates in the state. Yet it was precisely this reputation that would become his greatest asset in planning his escape. The plan began months in advance, with Lopez patiently studying the prison's layout, routines, and the behaviors of both the guards and fellow inmates. He cultivated a network of informants, exploiting vulnerabilities in the system to gather critical intelligence. Slowly but steadily, he assembled a team of like-minded inmates, each possessing a unique skill set vital for executing his grand design. The fateful night arrived, shrouded in darkness and secrecy. Lopez's team operated with military precision, exploiting a critical flaw in the prison's security infrastructure. By exploiting a blind spot in the surveillance system, they were able to navigate through the labyrinthine corridors undetected, avoiding the watchful gaze of the unsuspecting guards. Their path to freedom was fraught with danger, requiring nerve and determination. Lopez's leadership proved instrumental, offering a masterclass in crisis management as he directed his team through unforeseen obstacles and contingencies. The escapees moved like ghosts, leaving no trace of their passage. Outside the prison walls, a getaway vehicle, meticulously prepared and strategically stationed, awaited their arrival. With engines roaring and adrenaline pumping, the fugitives made their final dash to freedom, leaving behind a scene of chaos and disbelief. As the news of the prison break spread like wildfire, a massive manhunt was launched. Law enforcement agencies at the local, state, and federal levels worked tirelessly to track down Lopez and his accomplices. The escape sent shockwaves through the criminal justice system, prompting a reevaluation of security measures in institutions across the country. In the ensuing weeks, the authorities would uncover the intricate web of alliances and resources that had enabled Lopez to execute his audacious escape. The meticulous planning, the careful cultivation of alliances, and the deft exploitation of security loopholes all spoke to the criminal mastermind's unparalleled cunning. Months would pass before a breakthrough came. A tip from an anonymous source led law enforcement to a remote hideout, where Lopez and his accomplices were finally apprehended. The manhunt had ended, but the legend of Gonzalo Lopez, the convicted murderer turned escape artist, would forever be etched in the annals of criminal history. The saga of Lopez's prison break remains a cautionary tale, a testament to the depths of human resourcefulness and the lengths to which some will go to evade justice. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most fortified institutions are not impervious to the relentless pursuit of those determined to break free. George Hyatt and Jennifer Hyatt. What would you do if the love of your life would be spending almost the rest of his life in prison? Cry yourself to sleep or try to set him free with an arm gun? Well, the latter was what Jennifer did. Jennifer was a vibrant woman who worked as a practicing nurse when she met and fell in love with George, who is an inmate in prison. After some time in the relationship, they asked for permission to get married from the prison authorities and courthouse, which they agreed, making it Jennifer's third marriage. But she wanted more. She wanted to feel her husband's presence and love more than she got. So in 2005, the daring prison break of George Hyatt happened as his wife Jennifer Hyatt saw an opportunity and took it. Their escape unfolded in Kingston, Tennessee, during a routine court appearance. George Hyatt was serving a 41-year sentence for aggravated assault and robbery at the Roane County Courthouse. His wife Jennifer was deeply devoted to him, and their plan to liberate George was meticulously crafted over several weeks. On the day of the escape, the Hyatts seized an opportune moment when George was being escorted from a prison van to the courthouse. Jennifer, armed with a concealed handgun, sprang into action, firing shots at the guards. Chaos ensued, and in the ensuing struggle, George managed to break free from his restraints. The couple fled the scene in a stolen vehicle, leaving a stunned and injured law enforcement team behind. The nation watched in disbelief as the manhunt unfolded. The Hyatts became the focus of an intense search operation that spanned multiple states. Law enforcement agencies collaborated, utilizing every available resource to track down the fugitives. The Hyatts' escape strategy was cunning. They deliberately chose a small-town courthouse, believing that law enforcement in rural areas might be less prepared for such a brazen attack. Their audacity, however, only intensified the pursuit. As days turned into weeks, sightings and leads poured in from concerned citizens, but the Hyatts proved elusive. Their ability to evade capture demonstrated a level of resourcefulness that surprised even seasoned investigators. Jennifer's unwavering commitment to her husband played a central role in the escape's success. Her calculated actions during the breakout underscored the depths of her devotion and the risks she was willing to take. The bond between the Hyatts was a powerful force that drove their audacious plan. Ultimately, the Hyatts' run came to an end. In Ohio, their stolen vehicle was spotted, triggering a high-speed chase. Cornered and with nowhere to go, the couple was apprehended. The months on the run had taken their toll, leaving them exhausted and desperate. The trial that followed was heavily publicized. The escape and subsequent capture of the Hyatts served as a stark reminder of the lengths some individuals will go to for love and freedom. Their story fascinated the nation, leading to numerous discussions about the nature of loyalty and the boundaries of personal sacrifice. In the end, George Hyatt was sentenced to life in prison for his role in the escape and the death of a guard during the breakout. Jennifer, facing charges of first-degree murder, received a 35-year sentence. Their story continues to be a subject of interest and study, offering insights into the lengths to which individuals are willing to go in pursuit of their definition of freedom. In the end, they might never see each other again. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.